Afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir.
Okay. So, last class we stopped in the cross elasticity of demand. So, we have studied on price elasticity of the demand and the price elasticity of supply. Now, we will study the demand. So, elasticity. So, another elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand. So this cross elasticity of demand measure consumers' responsiveness of quantity purchased of a product to change in price of another product. So on price elasticity measure consumer responsiveness to a change in the price of that particular goods. But cross price elasticity measure the consumer responsiveness of quantity purchased of a product to a change in price of another good. So the formula for the cross elasticity of demand coefficient is percentage change in quantity demanded of product X, percentage change in price of product Y. So for the percentage change in another product price, the consumer's response or change in the percentage change in the quantity demanded of X. So this is cross price elasticity of demand. So the other commodities related to this particular commodity, so depend on the relationship. Some commodities are substitute for this commodity. Some commodities are complement for this commodity. So complement mean they have to use together. So complement. So they have to consume both commodity together. They cannot get any satisfaction if they consume only one commodity. They have to consume together. Then only they will get satisfaction. So then those commodities are complementary goods. Some are independent goods. So other commodity price will not affect this particular commodity demand. So that effect is very minimum. So then we can say both are independent commodity. Now we will see the substitute goods. So if that cross elasticity of demand is positive, that means so sale of X move in the same direction as a change in price of Y. So if other commodity price increase, this particular commodity demand increase, then both are increase. So if other commodity price increase, that means other commodity now it become expensive related to this particular commodity. Then this commodity demand increase, when other commodity price increase, this particular commodity demand quantity demanded increase, then coefficient is positive because percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in another price change in another commodity. So other price commodity increase, the quantity demanded of particular commodity also increase. So both are same direction increase, then coefficient will be positive. If other commodity price decrease, this particular commodity quantity demanded decrease, then both are decreased. Then the coefficient is positive. So if both changes in the same direction, these two commodities should be substitute because when other commodity price increase, that commodity become relatively expensive, then they will buy this particular commodity more because they substitute this cheaper product to other expensive product. So they substitute. So if other commodity price decrease, then other commodity price become relatively cheaper. Then the consumer will purchase less this commodity and buy other commodity more. Then they substitute other commodity for this particular commodity. So then both are should be substitute goods. So if the changes in the same direction is increase, this particular commodity also increase. That other commodity price decrease, this particular commodity quantity purchase also decrease. Then both should be substitute each other. So the coefficient is positive. Then another case, when other commodity price increase, this particular commodity quantity purchase decrease. So other commodity price increase, this particular commodity purchase decrease. When other commodity price decrease, this commodity purchase increase, sale increase. So opposite direction. An increase price, other commodity, this particular commodity demand decrease. So when another commodity price decrease, this particular commodity demand, quantity demanded increase. So then both are opposite, then the coefficient sign is negative. So if coefficient sign is negative, then that means these two commodities are complementary goods. So that means complementary mean both commodities should be used together. Both commodities should be consumed together. Then only there will be a satisfaction. So these are complementary goods. So if it is larger than this negative cross elasticity coefficient, then greater is the complementary between two goods. So whether substitutes or complementary goods, they are cross price elasticity is larger value. That means they are very strong substitute, very strong complementary goods. This cross price elasticity coefficient is lower value, then these two commodities are weak substitute or weak complementary. So that cross price elasticity value say the degree of their relationship, whether they are strong or weak substitute, whether they are strong complementary goods or weak complementary goods. So independent goods, a zero or near zero cross elasticity will say that the two products are unrelated or independent goods. If the cross price elasticity very small or zero, then we can say these both commodities are unrelated or independent. So there are most of the commodities are independent or unrelated. Now we will see application of this cross price elasticity. So we measure this on price elasticity, demand on price elasticity of supply, cross price elasticity of demand. We measure the degree of response because we apply this some cases. So there are application. So this cross price elasticity may be useful for the companies or government also. They will be use this elasticity. They will apply. So now you see some companies produce different products. So now Coca-Cola company produce Coca-Cola and Sprite. So if the Coca-Cola company decide to reduce the price of Sprite, then we know when the price of Sprite reduce, then sale of the Sprite will increase. People buy more Sprite. But what will happen to their another product, Coca-Cola? So if the Sprite of sales increase, maybe expense of the Coca-Cola, at the expense of Coca-Cola. So if the consumers buy more Sprite and less Coca-Cola, then then company, we cannot say company will profit or it is benefit for the company. So if they are producing two commodity, Coca-Cola and Sprite, so they should know whether they can reduce the price or not. If one commodity sale increase, reduce the another commodity sale, so then company will not gain much. So they should know the cross price elasticity. If we know the cross price elasticity, then they can decide like that. Different company products cross price elasticity or low. Also, company should know if other company price the company reduce their product, how that reduction will affect another company product sale. So when these are application of the cross price elasticity. So these companies they want to know the cross price elasticity between their product and between others product. So substitute like complementary goods also. So and also government also apply this cross price elasticity concept. So now not in our country, in developed countries, yeah, some cases in our country also. So if there are two two different product, so in that product, one company they are dominating. So now if you Microsoft, you know, for the software operating system, the Microsoft is the leading company. So hardware, something IBM or something, another company. So if both company merge, then the competition will go down. So then the government won't always more competition among the product or among the companies. Then they will develop new technology and also they will produce at the lowest cost. So then the government will not allow that. So antitrust law, by that law, they file the case and they will, by the court, they will say they cannot merge. Two company cannot merge. So earlier in USA, Microsoft and in 2000, Microsoft and another hardware company, I think IBM, they want to merge. They decide to merge both company and become a one company. Then the US government filed the case again that merging. Then under the antitrust law, then the court ordered they cannot merge. They cannot become a one company because the country need competition. If they merge, then it will reduce the competition and it will affect the consumer. They can sell at a higher price or there is then government won't always competition. So for that the government need to know how strong they are to company, whether they are very strong complementary goods or whether they are more strong substitute goods. So if the larger value of cross price elasticity, sometimes government they don't want this two companies to merge and become a one company. So the government also want to know the cross elasticity of demand. So like that, the application of cross elasticities are there. So all the companies, they want to know the cross elasticity of demand with the competing firm or complementary product. So this now we will see another elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand. So income elasticity of demand measure the degree to which consumer responds to a change in their income by buying more or less of a particular goods. So income elasticity measure the consumer responsiveness of sale to change in income. So we know then the formula, coefficient formula is percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in income. So for most goods for the most goods, this income elasticity is positive. So when the income increase, they will buy more, most of the goods like that. So for most of the goods, this income elasticity will be positive sign. Some goods, when the income increase, consumer buy less. So we call those goods inferior goods. So that means when the income increase, they buy less. So the sign is negative sign. So then we call those goods are inferior goods. So normally some example for inferior goods. So used clothes and bus tickets. So in USA, there is a store for used clothes. So some Red Cross or some they have a store. So people they wash their used clothes and bring to this Red Cross store. They give freely. So those store they sell it in lower price. So the poor people they will go and buy this used cloth, used other items also consumable item, even electronic everything. So some there are all the cities there are some used item they sell some store. So mostly used clothes. So then if your income increase earlier when you are poor you will buy this used cloth. When you got a job with good salary, then you will not go to this used cloth store. So you buy from the other supermarket or mall, you will buy new clothes. So then used cloth is a inferior, become a inferior goods for them. So like that, many product so use so bus ticket in USA. Normally, when they travel between the cities or between the states, they use normally flight. So in 1 hour, 2 hour, they go to other place. So, but there are buses also. Luxury buses are there, but for when the income increase, people they don't go by bus. They always use flight. But if you go to the bus take more hours. So between two states, it may take 6 hours, 9 hours, even some 2 or 3 days. So all the facilities are there in the bus. So they will stop the gas station like that, but it may take more hours. So when the income increase, you don't waste time in the bus. 1 hour, 2 hour, you can go by the flight. But if you go to bus station, you can see the people. So they are very poor people. So if you are rich or you are having good job, so you will not travel in the bus. So because other passengers are, so they are maybe drug addict or like that. You can see. So for when bus it's became a inferior goods in USA. So like that, when the income increase, some goods become a inferior goods. So vehicle tire. So the they use tire and there's something they do and then they resell. So that is inferior goods. So like that. So like that, many uh, inferior goods are there when the income increase. Earlier, normal goods for them, it become inferior goods beyond some income level. So, so this is income elasticity. So now we will study the last section in the chapter, the consumer surplus and producer surplus efficiency. So economic efficiency. So consumer surplus. So consumer or producer surplus are the benefit surplus through market transaction. So when you are consumer, when you buy any product from the market, you are gaining something. Gain from the trade. You get some benefit surplus. That is consumer surplus. Producer also, when they sell a product in the market, they gain something from that trade. So that is benefit surplus. So consumer surplus is the difference between the consumer, the price the consumer willing to pay to buy and the price actually they pay. So in the market, all the consumers pay market price, equilibrium price to the quantity they buy any amount. So you will buy a market price, but you are willing to pay more every unit. So first unit, you are willing to pay more. Second unit, you are willing to pay less than first unit. Third unit. So like that, your willingness to pay decrease, but you are actually paying in the market price. So the difference between your willingness to pay to the actual price is the benefit for you. So that benefit surplus. Now this benefit in terms of money. So your willingness to pay, it's measured by the money. That is your satisfaction is measured in money value. Your willingness to pay mean you are willing to pay first unit 100 rupees. That means that 100 rupees measure your satisfaction in money value. That 100 rupees, when you lose that 100 rupees, your satisfaction, you are losing. So whenever you lose money, you are losing. So then if you are going to buy one product, one unit at 100 rupees, that measure your satisfaction in terms of money, rupees. So actually you are paying in the market 50 rupees for the first unit. So you gain 50 rupees when you buy 1 unit. Like that, the second unit you will not pay 100 rupees, 90 rupees, like that. So in the market, if you are buying 10 unit or any unit, you are paying 50 rupees. That means the 10th unit, you are buying 10 unit. So the 10th unit, you pay 50 rupees. That is, so the difference between your willingness to pay and the actual price you are paying in the market is the benefit. So that is benefit surplus. So each individual consumer get benefit in the market, and also collectively all the consumers also benefit when they buy a product in the market. All are willing to, their willingness to pay greater than the or equal to the market price. So there is a benefit surplus to the producer or the consumer. So you can see the market demand here in the curve, downward slope. So you are paying a price, equilibrium price. So you actually pay this rectangular yellow color, that money, the even all the consumers collectively pay. If this is individual demand, that your only your consumer surplus. If this is a market demand, so this is the equilibrium price. So all the consumers together to buy this product, this amount money they pay, all the consumers collectively in the market gain this triangular area. So that is consumer surplus. If it is market demand, this consumer surplus area, the benefit of all the consumers. If it is a individual demand, that particular consumer surplus. So you know the consumer surplus. So this demand curve is so the maximum willingness to pay for each unit. So producer surplus also like that. So each seller willing to accept a minimum price. The supply curve show the minimum acceptable price by seller to sell that product. So each unit there is a minimum acceptable price by the seller to sell. But actually he received higher price than the minimum acceptable price. So when that seller sell, he get benefit because actual price greater than the minimum acceptable price. So a single seller, or if the individual supply, firm supply, then that if market supply, then all sellers collectively get that benefit from the selling. in the market trading. So gains to trade, that benefit surplus is the producer surplus. So this is, so he received that rectangular shape area revenue, but actually the minimum acceptable price or cost, the supply curve is the marginal cost. So then the variable cost is the triangle, lower triangle area. So the upper triangle area is producer surplus. So in the market, so demand and supply determine the equilibrium price, market demand and market supply. Now we are studying competitive market. So this is, we assume earlier we studied competitive market. If it is a competitive market, market demand and market supply determine the price, that is the equilibrium price and the quantity. So if we produce this equilibrium quantity, then market achieve the economic allocative efficiency. So productive efficiency, there are two efficiency, productive efficiency and allocative efficiency. We studied earlier. Productive efficiency mean, so market force all the producers, if there is a competition in the market, then competition forces all the producers to produce at the lowest cost using best technology. So if there are many firms, there are competition. So that competition force all the producers to produce at the lowest cost using best technology. So if we produce any product at the lowest cost, then we say productive efficiency achieved. If all the producers are producing at the lowest cost a product, then productive efficiency occurred or productive efficiency is achieved. That is productive efficiency, producing each unit at the lowest cost. So in the competitive market, that will achieve because competition, many sellers, many producers, so there's a competition, then they will produce at the lowest cost by using this technology. So in the competitive market, productive efficiency is achieved. But allocative efficiency is now the market demand and market supply, say the quantity, equilibrium quantity. So if we produce the equilibrium quantity output, level of output, we achieve allocative efficiency. So this demand shows the marginal benefit to the society. This, the supply curve show the marginal cost. Hello? if we produce the equilibrium quantity, market equilibrium quantity, that means we have achieved allocative efficiency, because at that quantity level, equilibrium quantity level, marginal benefit equal marginal cost. Marginal benefit, the demand, so the marginal benefit, supply, so the marginal cost. Then at that intersection, that there we produce equilibrium quantity, yeah, marginal benefit equal marginal cost. Marginal benefit to the society, then we produce this amount of quantity. So this equilibrium quantity reflects the level of this product relative to other goods. So we have then the first lecture we studied, we have a limited resources. We had to allocate these resources to among the commodity we want to produce. So now we allocate our resources efficiently. What amount this product consumer the society want. So this equilibrium quantity. So this is the level of this particular commodity the society want, the desired quantity. So to produce this desired quantity, we allocated input effectively or efficiently. We don't produce more than the society want, or we didn't produce less than the society want. We produce actually at the equilibrium quantity, we produce actually the society want. So that means we effectively, efficiently allocate our resources, inputs. So allocative efficiency achieved. The demand curve show the marginal benefit of each additional output to the society. That demand curve show consumers' willingness to pay, marginal benefit or consumers' willingness to pay. The supply curve show marginal cost, opportunity cost. When we produce this additional output, we are losing some other product. So we cannot use the resources we used here. So we lose some other product. The value of the best alternative product is the opportunity cost. That is the marginal cost. So marginal cost increase. So and also supply curve. So the sellers willing to minimum acceptable price. So then when the marginal benefit equal marginal cost, we achieve the allocative efficiency, and consumers willingness to pay and the producer acceptable price, both are equal. So we achieve allocative efficiency. So allocative efficiency occurs at the quantity level. There are three conditions satisfied. One is marginal benefit equal marginal cost, maximum willingness to pay equal minimum acceptable price, and the combined consumer surplus and producer surplus is maximum. So the maximum, this triangle area is this. So you can see the green color and yellow color maximum. We cannot have more than this producer consumer surplus. So together to society, we get this gain. So consumer is a part of society, producer also part of the society. The maximum the consumer producer surplus is the benefit surplus to the society. Only at the equilibrium quantity this will be maximum. If we produce less than this quantity, we will get less. If we produce more than that also, the total benefit surplus decrease. If we produce more than this equilibrium quantity, marginal cost greater than the marginal benefit, then this is loss. So we have to, if we produce more than this over allocation of resource, if we produce more than this quantity, equilibrium quantity, that means over allocation. We produce more, then we allocate more resources to produce. If we produce more than our over allocated resource, then we are producing additional output, the marginal cost greater than marginal benefit. That is loss. Then that loss should be subtracted from this triangular, the benefit surplus. So over allocation, over production also produce society surplus benefit. And if we produce less, then there are some quantity for that marginal benefit greater than marginal cost, then we are not getting that benefit because we are not producing. If we under-allocate, we produce less than this equilibrium quantity, then we are losing some benefit. That loss we call dead weight loss. So there are, if we produce less than the equilibrium quantity, then we lost some benefit. That is we call dead weight loss. If we produce more than that, so if we produce Q2 amount here lower than the equilibrium quantity, then here up to this quantity to equilibrium quantity, we are not producing. So that product marginal benefit greater than marginal cost. So if we produce more, then we will get that benefit. So we are losing that efficiency. So that benefit, that loss is dead weight loss. Now we produce more than the equilibrium quantity, that is also loss because each additional output benefit is less than the cost. So marginal benefit less than the marginal cost. So these are loss. Then if we produce more than the equilibrium quantity, then we have to subtract this loss from this maximum benefit. So finally, totally the efficiency is less, low, benefit is low. So you know what is allocative efficiency, what is productive efficiency. So only we can achieve productive efficiency and allocative efficiency at the equilibrium quantity that market demand, market supply intersect in a competitive market. In a competitive market only that demand and supply determine the market demand and market supply determine the price. Each seller cannot influence on the price. So in a competitive market, we can achieve efficiency, economic efficiency, that productive efficiency and allocative efficiency both. So then later we will study in the monopoly, we will not achieve this efficiency. So we studied the demand, supply and efficiency, equilibrium. So next chapter we will study chapter 7. So in the chapter 7 we again study consumer behavior, how the individual demand we derive, how the market demand we derive. So consumer behavior we will study how the consumer makes choice. So here we will study, earlier we studied budget line, now we will study consumer preference. So earlier we studied in the limits, budget constraint. Now we will study consumer preference. Then we combine the budget and this preference. Then we will see how the consumer make choice, and from that choice how a individual demand we derive, consumer demand we derive. So we will study in the chapter 7. I have another meeting, so I will stop here. Now students, I have uploaded these slides in the LMS. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Give